What's up, everybody? I'm Bob West. This is my brother Colby West.
What's going on?
And this is the West Bros Experience. The goal of this podcast is to bring value to your business and to your personal life every single day. We hope to motivate and inspire you, as well as provide a forum for all other entrepreneurs, self-starters, or side hustles of any kind. We hope this pod can be a forum for all those people to grow more quickly and do it together. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about Grant Cardone and Dale Carnegie, some new school versus some old school tactics. We're also going to get into some new ways to look at your goal setting for the next year and next decade coming up. But before that, we'll tell you a little bit about us. I am Bob West. Before being a real estate agent, which is what I've been doing for the last year, I was a professional golfer for about 10 years, traveling all over the country, working on my game, playing tournaments, competing on the national stage. And so bringing those qualities forward into my real estate business was really easy because I was a motivated self-starter. I knew what it took to get out of bed in the morning, to set my own schedule, to go after it, and to pursue my goals. And pursuing my goals and doing it alongside my brother here, Colby West, has been one of the things that we've been doing the last about 6 months, and that's been really exciting.
Yeah. So I'm Colby West, 27 years old, and I've engineered on paper. The last 4 years of my life, I worked for Solar City Tesla, and as of recent, probably 3 months ago, just about, decided that was no longer the path I wanted to go, and I wanted to start helping more people. I took a huge focus on personal development and helping people day to day, and decided really that 9 to 5 was a huge limiting factor for me. And it was just, I was kind of getting stuck in the day-to-day, and not that I didn't agree with the vision or anything like that, but it just wasn't for me at that time. So
I think there's a lot of people that can relate to that struggle, and then wanting to go out on your own like you've been doing now.
Yeah, it feels a lot better mentally, physically. I feel great, and just being able to talk with people, find out where they're at, and help them through their struggle. That's one of the coolest things, the best feelings I ever have is like, hey man, I love what you're doing. I love like what you're putting on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. It really motivates me and inspires me to be better. So that's a huge deal for me. Being a self-starter and entrepreneur type mindset now, it's largely setting daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, and annual goals, and personally I'm not very good at that right now, and I know that's something I've got to work on and get better at. And just being able to write down things in the morning, what you want to get done for the day, and personally I like to write down like 5 victories I had, no matter how big or small. I write those down right before I go to bed. Say, hey, you kicked ass today, you talked to 5 people, good job, man. Like, I know talking to people wasn't actually your thing before this, so
that's huge. Sorry, not to interrupt, but yeah, I think that's absolutely huge. We were actually at M3 Accelerator Summit earlier this year, and I think it was Ryan Stewman, hardcore closer. We'll drop his link in here, but he was the one that said that you got to celebrate your victories every day. You got to write those down, like Colby just said. And me in real estate, being first year in the business, but also looking back on the golf career, just taking that time to celebrate your victories, because golf, especially, like even the best players in the world only get to win a few times a year. So you've got to be able to win every day, and you do that through your process and your process goals. And I think this would be maybe a good time to ask anybody watching to maybe drop a comment. What are the ways that you set goals? What are some of the things that you do on a daily basis, and then a long-term basis as well? That's one of the things I wanted to get into. Is I've heard a lot of people talking. One of my mentors out there, Ryan Serhant from $1 Million Listing, he talks about setting goals coming up for 2020. Don't set them for the 1 year. Now set decade-long goals and start to really challenge yourself there to see how far forward you can look, and see how many of your limitations you can exceed going forward.
Absolutely. Yeah, setting those long-term goals are absolutely huge, and honestly, you'll probably go in a different direction, but you're going to make progress throughout every single day, every month, every year, and that progress is going to start to add up. So
that's huge. One of Grant Cardone's theories, and we're going to get into some Cardone versus Carnegie here in a second, but one of his things is 10x. Get out there and do 10 times more, take 10 times the action, so basically you can live 10 times the life. And that's not always your bank account, but that can be your personal life, that can be your fitness, that can be your health, that can be how you treat people, or how you maybe overcoming some of the things that have held you back. But expanding on that 10x theory, I was thinking about it, and so if you 10x your life for 1 year, you've made big time progress, right? Whatever that is, if it's your bank account or really hopefully it's all phases of your life where you're 10xing and prioritizing all things together. But if you 10x your life in 1 year and then do that again the next year, in 2 years you're already 100 times better than you were. And you keep doing that, compounding that for 10 years, and you're 10 billion times better than you ever were when you started out. And I think that's like going to what Colby just said about, where you don't necessarily know where all these goals will lead you. You don't necessarily know the person that you're going to be because you don't know the person you can become. So I think
that's huge.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I've been challenging myself to really look at your goal setting. Like let's 10x it this year, but also don't put limitations on it, because if you keep compounding that, it doesn't take very many years to you're living a whole nother life. Your limitless capabilities compared to where you are now.
Solid, man. Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So what do we got here?
Well, let's get into a little bit of the Cardone versus Carnegie. I know Colby's been reading some Carnegie lately. We're always kind of plugged into Grant Cardone, whether it's through books or whether it's through social media. And we were talking a little bit, I'll let you elaborate on it, but kind of like the new school versus the old school approach.
Yeah, so recently this weekend, took a few days to myself and did some reading and research and figured out what type of, I'm in solar sales right now, and figure out what kind of niche is really mine, whether I want to be the pressure seller or the high intensity Cardone type, or if I want to really fully develop relationships as Carnegie elaborates to. So it's really, Carnegie plays seemingly the long game, really being genuine with every single person, getting to know where they're at, what their pain points are, and really helping them genuinely. And if that's not closing the sale, if that's not, they're not buying your product, service, what have you, fine. As long as you're helping them through their struggles and whatever, that's Carnegie's big deal.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's right in the title, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and that first part, how to win friends, is really what it's all about. Treating people the way that you'd like to be treated, treating them the way they want to be treated, but also kind of figuring out what their motivations are. And I've learned that in real estate really quickly is you can try to sell somebody, you can try to get them to buy the perfect house, the perfect time, and it might be a perfect match, but if they're not excited about it, if they're not motivated to make a move right now, if there's something that's holding them back, you're probably not going to be able to make that sale. So that's where, getting deeper and discovering, how you can how you can form a relationship, because that's what I think what we're talking about is really actually forming a relationship. One of the things, and I think this would be cool for you talked about was we've talked about is what are the basic questions you can ask somebody if you're trying to form a relationship, and I think you use that acronym FOMO or something like that. Not to put you on the spot.
Yeah, no, fear of missing out. It's fear of missing out on time with your family. It's fear of missing out on the great benefits of your product if you want to go just directly into it and figure out what is missing in their life, what could be better, just right along that line for Carnegie anyway. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then, you've got Cardone who says you've got to basically, your goal, especially in sales, should be to get famous.
Yep.
That's kind of been my take.
That is exactly right. Yeah, Cardone is a volume player. He's trying to get in front of 7.6 billion people, everyone in the entire world, and may or may not happen one way or another, but he's going to try it. So that's a huge thing for him. And not everyone's on social media, not everyone's accessible to the internet, but he's going to get out there. He's giving speeches in X amount of countries, and it's just really kind of changing my mindset as to why not? Why are you being so limited? Why are you not talking to every single person out there? And back to Carnegie, developing a relationship with them. Because personally, I think I relate a little bit more to Carnegie, just my kind of demeanor and lifestyle and the way I like to connect with people. Being absolutely genuine with people is a huge thing.
So I can see a little bit of a hang up there if you want to get maximum volume. So you want to talk to as many people as possible, but you also want to form a genuine connection.
Yep.
So are you really trying to dig deep with everybody, or are you just more trying to talk to everybody and you're open to anybody that's willing to maybe communicate back with you?
Yep, I think that's spot on.
Kind of letting anybody that wants to talk to you, basically, that's where then you dig a little bit deeper. In sales, everybody has their scripts, right? And like the true salespeople, they believe in scripts, but they also know that a script can't sound scripted or it won't be successful.
Yep.
I think when we talk about scripts, that's a way that salespeople, especially starting out, that's a way for you to get comfortable with having these conversations where you're digging deeper about somebody's motivation, because you've got to be comfortable with the words that you're using, or they're not going to be comfortable with them. And if that's your genuine intention, you want to make sure that you put people at ease. And so taking the steps to put the work in and work on some of the scripts and work on the things that you need to say in those situations. I think a lot of maybe people fear that it's disingenuous, but in reality, it's the way that you can help people. It kind of blend both worlds, I think. Blend the new school and the old school.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. I think people absolutely love buying things. It's Cyber Monday today, and there's going to be billions of dollars spent online buying things that you probably don't need. But people absolutely love buying things, and on the inverse side of it, they hate being sold for the most part. So it's really putting yourself in the buyer's shoes and say, hey, what would I like in this situation? And kind of going from there. So.
Yeah, and I think, maybe like where you were talking about Grant Cardone wants to be known by 7.5 billion people. Really, if you put yourself out there in a way that people can discover you, then you're kind of open to forming those genuine relationships rather than, maybe like in sales, like right away it's tough because you're trying to sell to your personal sphere. Mm-hmm. And so it's difficult sometimes to have that conversation without feeling like you're putting pressure on the people that you consider oftentimes your family and your friends. So I think kind of avoiding that pressure is what Cardone's talking about, and basically that's where you're using marketing, you're using social media advertising, you're using social media in general to get out there and get known by as many people as possible, so that Colby becomes known as the solar salesperson, and I become known as the real estate agent here in Las Vegas. And that's got to be the goal with your marketing, your advertising, to get people to feel good and feel comfortable enough with your reputation that they're going to call you. So it's kind of like working a personal level, but really through like your marketing and your advertising.
Yeah, I think that I'd say that pretty much sums it up for the day anyway. We are definitely open to conversation going forward, taking any and all requests. If you have anything that we glazed over that you want to hear more about, let us know. Drop us a comment, share, subscribe. You know the drill by now. So
absolutely.
Any requests, we'll be happy to talk about it. And
Yeah, drop us a comment. Let us know, Cardone, Carnegie, what you know, maybe some of the principles and how they apply to your business. Maybe how new school versus old school has applied, or if you're like we talked about today, is really you kind of want to walk that fine line in between both, by getting out there, getting known, but also forming those genuine relationships. So it'd be cool to hear from other people in other industries or just other salespeople as to how those concepts have applied, or the goal setting concepts. So yeah, drop a comment, leave a question, send us a message on social media. We'll put all the hooks, everything below. I think that is about it today.
Cool.
So that is about it. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Later.
Cool.